we'll be back from the break. Still watching Smart Men's Business. And of course, at this particular time, we're heading into a very amazing conversation that is in line with, of course, we shall be taking a look at the HIV prevalence in Uganda, observing the cost implications, definitely. But before we get in there, the attitude you start with the day or the attitude you end with the week largely determines how the beginning, the genesis of the next week will turn out to be for you like. And that's why we believe in starting your day inspired to keep your attitude fresh all day, all time. Here on Smart Men's Business as a young business aspirant. But of course, not only just in business, but we'll take a look at career progress and the development and the growth at the same time. Well, let's get into this inspiration moment real quick. Then kasumba ya. Well, many times we try to define what success is all about. And recently I've been trying to read a book titled The 11 Laws of God. And though I've been trying to put out something so amazing about what people feel satisfaction, putting it in material things, but based on personal basis. But then the question is, the day you live, what did you leave for the people around you? What did you leave for the society? So that's why I found that quite very connecting to that line. True success is about creating a better world.
Yeah, it is. It is about passion to create a better world. I mean, why else would you want to set up a thing that that you won't be remembered for? That is why, in most cases, we've come and talked about if you want to set up a business, look out for a gap.
Look out for a gap.
Something that sets you apart from the rest that are doing that same very business. Something that you will be remembered. And of course, they've been emphasizing on doing a CSR. Corporate social responsibility. If you're a business person, it doesn't stop from you getting the money. What impact have you done? The people that we see have advanced to be these MPs and ministers, other people so that they had great careers. They were really good with people. They shared, talked to people. It went beyond making money. It now went to having a community that is full of love, that is full of every other aspect away from money making. You've made the money, but you need people at the end of the day.
You need people. And that is quite very key and important, because if you take a look at, somebody mentioned a statement and say that the challenge in Africa, it's that every generation is an orphan. In other words, it's starting afresh. But in most cases, that is happening because of the mistakes the great grandparents did, because there is all this perspective of, greed and selfishness. And it's typical in Africa, whereby we are known so much more of being open to share knowledge that is going to create development. To me, I talk about, you may not necessarily put up investments or find gaps, but also I feel like investing in knowledge in other people can also create really that passion. So that's why you see somebody sets up, let me say an investment, but at the end of the day, it's about him and his family. And when perhaps the society around it's, and the funny thing, the investment is just exploiting the surrounding environment for the benefit of the family. So 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, you'll get to find that, of course, that leads to discontent among the community members. And you find that the great-grandchild of that family is going to suffer and is going through the wrath of the community, because they know that they are perhaps, and when he sits down and tries to wonder, why am I suffering? Then the story starts. Your great-grandfather started up this factory. You are from a rich family, but that factory became a curse to the society. And now they're telling the child the story of his father or grandfather. So they are suffering. So now the grandfather, what did he create? And at the end of the day, that's not a better world. That's a world that is causing havoc and confusion.
Chaos.
You know, but imagine it was for the good. Now, I also bring it back to the aspect of knowledge. Many times in Africa, there is knowledge we don't really put out there across, because take a look at back in ancient African setting, because most of the people see that Africa, we are where we are today simply because of selfishness, and the question is, what even led to that? And this is as a result of the knowledge. What did our ancestors know that we didn't pass on to this generation? Or perhaps there is something they saw about this generation that it won't be faithful with this knowledge. They decided to keep it for themselves. And that's why when you take a look at colonialism, the Nubis that were part of the original Egyptians, they constructed the pyramids. What happened? Now the country is an Arab country who weren't actually the actual inhabitants of that country. You know, so what better world was created really? Like mentioned, the Saxons. What did they create? And we got exposed to all these colonial related aspects which have put us in chains of chains of bondage, believing that we don't have a say. The Africans say it doesn't matter, but what they say towards Africa is what matters. So Africa has to really abide by what they think and all those strategies. But that's not creating a better world, because none of those ideologies has created a better Africa, but they have made Africa a much more state compared to the Africa of 1,000 years BC, if you're to consider. Take a look at time in history. But that's what it is. True success is about creating a better world. So if you know anything that you believe you can share to a generation, well, I believe it would be quite something awesome if you can put it up there for that generation to really undertake that.
Well, of course, you've heard it, and of course, I won't go beyond that point. And of course, getting straight into our discussion.
Yeah.
And of course,
like
I said in the morning at around 7 there, and I said the reason as to why we are advanced. It's on the increase, not so much, but a little bit increase is the lifestyle, and of course, the lifestyle, and of course, looking at the population heavily with youth. And of course, looking at the percentage increase, the most active years between 20 to 24, the independence that you get when you go to university, some other demands, cross-generational sex, it's really becoming a thing lately. It is very common. It is very common, and like I said, the lifestyle. And of course, this brings us to a conversation, and of course, with something here looking at tattoos and advanced HIV.
Tattoos and advanced HIV.
Yeah.
So tattoos are connected to HIV.
Yeah,
How are they connected?
The machines they use, probably because this is really, like it said, a hidden connection. And it's,
what does the report there clearly tell us?
Well, the report here says that the most striking patterns noticed in the high prevalence of HIV disease among critically ill patients with tattoos. Now, of course, the observation said that approximately 98% of tattooed patients admitted to medical emergency units always turned out to be positive for HIV.
Those with tattoos?
With advanced HIV disease and its complications. Can you imagine? That is something that is never considered. People think about is sexually transmitted, yet it's also
it's taking another route.
Yeah, it is really.
It's they call that mutation.
Yeah,
it's mutating and it's being adaptive, just like a feature of any virus.
Because they use the same syringe. What is it? That machine. So is it not clean enough?
I think now it has transcended from the human body. That it can now adapt. By the way, something what people need to know is that when we talk about climate change, lots of things are changing, and that is also going to come in line with we're talking about bacteria, viruses. Because as human nature, anything that has life, viruses have lives. We have something to do with adaptation. You know, we adapt to the environment. Now, as climate changes, even viruses, because as people's lifespans reduce due to some aspects, this means that viruses won't be able to live longer. But now they have to adapt to other ways. That means they are likely to manifest in matter. Yeah. Matter like the machine that makes the tattoo.
Yeah.
It has mutated.
Yeah, it has. It's really incredible, and this has to be an eye opener actually for for those that just managagenda for some things. Now, of course, you could be wondering, could the person have gotten contracted the disease before going for the tattoo, or do you get the infection during the tattoo process? Well, of course, the center there's the risk. The risk of contracting HIV through tattoos is considered low to negligible, but of course this is largely because transmission can only occur if the first customer not only has HIV but has a high viral load.
Has a high viral load. Okay.
Because those are one of the cases, because the ink goes deep into the skin.
Or maybe if they use that machine on an infected person.
Yes.
It could transmit.
Yes, that's what they say, the first customer.
Or because most people that, what kinds of people even get tattoos? That's the first question. Who are the most people that get tattoos? Youth.
Exactly, youth.
Okay, because they want to please the ladies, right? Because perhaps when you have a tattoo, you're cool.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, the lifestyle. The
lifestyle
that the youth are into. When I get a tattoo, it makes me look cool. The backside. I want to look different. Okay. And of course, the originality of whites getting tattoos was maybe for identification, because most of them don't have melanin to say what. But at least that would be like, oh, she has a tattoo of it. But for us, it's a lifestyle. You're the cool kid with the tattoos all over your face or wherever part of your body. So look at the consequences that are coming up.
Let's wind the report up.
And of course, like he said, in case there is a high viral load, and of course the customer bleeds, the bleeding
the bleeding aspect.
Alternatively, blood from the contaminated equipment enters the next customer's body in significant enough for infections to occur. So this gentleman has really had time, and of course these studies highlight that individuals with tattoos, especially in low-income countries, which happens to be in Uganda.
Oh my goodness. Low-income countries.
Low-income countries.
Low-income
countries are high risk. I'll give you an example. This is away from HIV. This is in Rhodes. We have the least cars.
The least cars?
Yes, we have very few cars compared to Europe and other continents. But we have the most deaths when it comes to accidents.
Most deaths? Why?
It's ironical.
So can I say that numbers don't give us an advantage, but it's about the quality of life in that country. It's more like you're mentioning countries that are like, we don't have a lot of cars, but we have one of the hugest congestions in Africa, as a country. Okay, I think that has a lot to do with quality of life.
Quality, and of course the cars will bring in a second-hand. People are still driving 19-something cars in poor condition. So, like he says, in low-income countries, these are often associated with reckless behavior that increase the risks of acquiring HIV. So you've had it, so be careful. Have that, machine sterilized, clean, thorough. Oh, let me tell you, this is the one place I would least expect it to come from.
Me too. That has been quite shocking. And I think it should be quite a huge eye-opener, not only just anything that perhaps... Let's talk about machines.
Could it be even
people
for
that even
piercings?
shave? it's the same. Now, it also brings me back to people that shaving your hair to the barber's shop, and you're getting a haircut.
And you bleed a little.
You bleed a little bit because remember, some of these machines are old. They use in there. Chances are high, and some people are cut in their heads. They have some kind of blisters which bleeds. So they're using that very machine. It's not properly sterilized. They're applying it on you, so you stand a huge risk. Even ladies, I think the same way. Because now looks like even we have to now approach this fight with details. We need to pay attention to the details. That if you're combing my hair, and the comb is going through that, because I know sometimes they use this hair contains cells. Some of it breaks off of your head, and at the tip of that hair, it contains a cell, which is. It's a lot of cells in there, so it's kind of scary.
Rare cases, but the lifestyle behaviors.
Okay, lifestyle behaviors
should change for us.
Okay,
I think there's a time actually, that time when they said HIV had increased, that people used to have their own creepers and they shave their heads to avoid the inconveniences such as like this, and of course the piercings. So with the decrease, people relax. There was a lot of laxity in that. People no longer use the ABC method. I don't know, abstinence, be faithful, and use condoms. They are sleeping in hotels and hospitals. People are afraid to buy. And they are really secretive when they're going to buy it off the counter. And that is not something to be afraid of, because at the end of the day, you know that you're going to keep yourself safe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you have for us?
Now, something here, Angola region, of course, the report here says that people should pay attention to Angola region.
Oh, really?
HIV/AIDS fast.
It is one of, no. Actually, it is. It's just that in that time period last year, it had increased, but you will be surprised that in Kampala, Kampala is highly populated.
Is this report biased?
No, what do you mean? No, it's just that...
because they're saying that the massive infections are coming in from that region. And yet, when you have discussions with people, they say that most of the people, for example, they give an example of the ladies who are the carriers, left Angola region, now they're in Kampala. But then...
if they're the men that are carriers, men traveling from Kampala
in most cases
to Western Uganda.
Anyway, either way can actually transmit it. But they say that a majority of the people left the city of Mbara. Now they decided to come to Kampala. Both men and women that have lifestyles that kind of attract the disease. How true is that?
It is.
You normally pay visit. When you go there to Angola town, what are your observations?
Well, why there was an increase is because of sexual immorality. There's a lot of sex workers actually that are quite affordable.
They are quite affordable.
Quite affordable for a night, honestly. So the more affordable, the more customers you get. In a night you will get like maybe 3 or 4. So imagine if you're a carrier.
So the affordability of sex workers is making us see this report that pay attention to Angola region. And of course, this Angola region is big, right? What districts are in there? Mbara, there's Ibanda, which are there? Ntungamo, is it part of it? Ntungamo, Kabale. Is Kabale part of it? Kabale is not part of that. Okay. All right. Now, of course, according to the Uganda AIDS Commission, Mbara is leading the 13 districts of Angola with 14%, followed by Kiruhura. We are talking about infections here with Kiruhura with 9.5%, Bushenyi 9.2%, Mbara City 8.1%, and Ibanda at 7.3%, Shema at 7.5%, Lubirizi at 6.1%, and Ntungamo 5.9%. However, Mitoma has 4.7%, Buhweju 3.8%, and Isingiro 3.1%. Of course, Mbara is the leading district among all those districts in the Angola region. are talking about infection, and Isingiro comes last with 3.1% rate of infection. Now, leaders in Ankole attribute the high prevalence rate to many factors, and of course, common among them is young people living reckless lives since they no longer consider HIV as a deadly disease. Young people, young women are said to usually be in company of the older men as they bar hop throughout the night.
Yeah, cross-generation effects.
You talk about cross-generation effects. Yeah. And now there is also the aspect of unemployment, and I think the report is also talking about that very particular factor. That the other high factor is the high unemployment rate that has forced some girls into prostitution.
Exactly.
And you mentioned about affordability of that. So, wow, interesting. Now, they leave their homes in search for jobs in urban areas, but after failing, they resort to selling themselves to earn a living. Then others have shunned the antiviral, the ARVs drugs due to stigma, among other reasons. By the way, let's talk about this. The stigma that is associated with the ARVs.
Oh,
hasn't it also been a big factor?
It has been, but I really think it has reduced me to because I know people who are really but no, we are friends, we are okay. It's just the mentality. Western Uganda is also kind of segregative on some things. Also,
segregated.
Or once someone gets to know, there's those that stick with you, but majority will leave because no one wants to associate. They feel like it's contagious. It's not.
Do they take the ARVs in public so people know them? Then
I guess
how do you stigmatize
someone testifies of being infected, and it spreads from one person to the other, and the next thing you know, the whole district knows, the whole village knows, and you're exposed.
Okay.
And I like the fact that most young girls have come up, or young men have come up. We have the likes of MC Cassers, come up and say this.
Comes out the
yes. So get ready if you're coming to him, get ready. Yeah, he's really infected, but the stigma is still there. But the fact remains, they're still reckless.
They're still reckless.
So imagine a person who has just come new in town.
Okay, he's likely to fall a huge victim of that. All right, now seeing as I wind this report up, just about 25 minutes past 8 before we get into the break, we have something here very interesting. The report last highlighted the aspect of the rate at which the ARVs are now taken. They have been shunned because people think it's no longer a deadly disease like how it used to be. And now here comes a story against the backdrop of a report late last year by UAC that about 1,000 new infections are registered in the country every week. Wow. This is the AIDS Commission, of course, are presenting this. 1,000 new infections are registered every week, and of course, and it's affecting predominantly the young people. Of course. Now the commission reports that report puts the figures at about 70 new infections among the young people every day. More than 51,000 people contracted HIV in 2022 out of more than 1.4 million people living with the virus. Around 17,000 died of that. So Uganda has over the last years been recognized for making strides in the fight against HIV, but these new statistics clearly suggest that Uganda's achievements could easily be reversed by the number of infections among the young people. So the glories that we have achieved in combating the epidemic could be turned upside down by the new infections. So that shows us that the new infections are quite pretty scary. Yeah,
I can't say it. The lifestyle, really, the lifestyle is really, bringing the surge, bringing back the numbers up.
The sanity, putting them down.
Yeah.
Now, as the coordinator of people living with HIV/AIDS in Mbarara City, Ms. Joyce Tiwaijoga suggested that there is need for comprehensive knowledge among young people. The young people need to be educated about the disease in a language that they are well conversant with.
They do. Actually, there are sensitization. They do some sensitization, but do these youth go? Out of 100, you find 2.
That really go there.
They
Okay.
really do go there? I don't think.
No,
Really.
like-
if they're going there, they want to know, is there money? I'm going to waste my time since HIV. We know it's there. There is this thing that is recent that the only thing the Gen Z's fear is pregnancy. The rest, they are ready. Because
So-
there is the option of I can take PEP after. You get?
PEP.
That has given them confidence.
Okay.
If after having some I don't trust, I go to the health center, I get PEP.
But PEP is not easily accessed
Well,
because it has the side effects, according to people that have testified, that have taken it. Well, as I wind this up, of course, preaching in about this disease, talking about the disease in the language the youth are well covered with, and they need to be preached to the gospel of abstinency and ease of protection. Now, they need to fight stigma. The young people need to learn to live with the disease and take their ARVs. Finally, there is actually need to reduce mother-to-child transmissions. All pregnant women must ensure that they go for testing and get the right medication if they test positive. Well, that is it for now. Let's take a break, and of course, we shall be returning with entertainment and sports. Stick around.